Welcome to Glitch Please, the show where we talk about video games. I'm Brian.
I'm Gus.
I'm John.
I'm Nick.
How is everybody?
Fantastic.
I'm fine.
Good? You're bundled up. It got cold
It's
here.
cold
Yeah.
finally. I get to actually put on layers.
Starting like Monday,
wonderful.
it got,
And then people in my office were already complaining about it.
It's like
I wanted to punch people.
It's the perfect weather if only Red Dead was out already. Where it's like,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want to go
Oh, man.
outside. It's
Yeah.
cold.
It is absolutely prime stay inside and play video games weather.
yes.
And it sucks that it started on Monday when work started. So you go to work and all you want to do is just stay at home with this weather change.
Right.
My one complaint is that my desk is right next to the door that everybody knocks on and wants me to let them in.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly, if I'm not the one opening it, I'm still constantly getting blasted by cold air.
I get
against
that.
my will.
I get
That
that.
sucks.
That's
yeah.
the one thing. But otherwise, yes.
Everybody in the no offices is under blankets, but everyone does that anyway. So now it's
Yeah, I
you
don't-
bring in extra blankets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it's video game playing weather.
Yeah.
It is.
Also, it's Texas, so if it drops below 80 degrees, we flip the
Yep.
fuck out. Like
Yeah.
as a state,
Yeah.
we're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, we're having like Texas winter right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, what is everybody playing before we get into the news? Let's talk about it.
So we're all catching Gen 4 Sinnoh Pokemon and Pokemon Go is what we're doing. That got released yesterday. and
Sure, as far as you know.
We're all working on our Gen 4 Pokedex.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, I got Pokemon Go out of the way early on, so we don't talk about it anymore.
I'm still like really deep in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk to you about Assassin's Creed.
Let's talk about it because
do it.
I'm loving it.
Are you playing it at all? Okay, cool. I'm glad we'll just completely shove you out of an entire conversation.
It's a new release.
That's how I feel half the time on the show, anyways, because we talk about games that I know nothing about. And I'm just like,
Just turn your back to him.
yeah. Well, it's usually when it's
just
me,
hide
it's a
over
game of like, let's see how long John's ADD will allow for him to just actually be involved in this conversation.
I'm gonna throw something shiny on the ground,
Yeah.
and I want you to change topics.
Spoiler: it doesn't last very long. You guys can watch like episodes of Glitch Please, and you can pause it where John checks out.
Yeah, if you don't want to hear about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, just skip ahead 2 minutes. We'll be on to something else.
Okay, so I wrote a tweet of my opinion about it, of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and there were some differing opinions about it, and I'm curious as to where you land. Generally speaking, as far as the story and character and design goes, I like the game.
Okay.
I'm not someone who is drawn into games very often by the characters or the story. This is a game that does that. I actually like the character.
They execute really well on it.
I can't speak for Alexios because I didn't play him, but Cassandra is fucking badass and fun.
Okay, I'm playing as Alexios, so we can
Okay.
play off of each other.
I love her. She's a great addition to this whole kind of world. I love the voice actress take on lines. There's a good level of like, I like that I'll pick an option of like a dialogue, but it doesn't just say that line. It gives a version of what she would say that would get that same emotion across. So it's not like just hearing her read what I'm.
And I feel like they do a good job of summarizing it in your options. Like sometimes you play a game like that and you're like, oh, well, that was a lot more aggressive than I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be. But no, here it's in line.
Right, you just wanted to say no, but they're like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah,
It's
right,
like,
right.
whoa.
L.A. Noire, the classic.
Yeah.
I also like that there are, with the whole choices option, that there is like, you can take some pretty drastic choices that you like know will have big ramifications.
Oh, yeah.
There's one huge one at the beginning of the game when you confront.
The Dudu Ojimani?
No, well that, but like there's a, I don't want to get into.
It's the very beginning of the game. It's fine.
Okay, when you confront your dad,
Okay.
there's a big choice you can make that I'm sure makes a big difference in what happens in the game.
Okay, yes, I think so, but based on the choice I made and the way they refer back, I feel like the way they talk about it
Okay.
is ambiguous in...
Okay, 30 seconds, and you can skip forward, and we're gonna spoil something really quick. 30 seconds, like 20 seconds, and we'll
Earmuffs.
stop. Okay, earmuffs.
Yeah.
Raise your hand while you're doing spoilers, and then when we put our hand
Yeah,
down, we
okay.
mute it, and then
Hands
when
up
we
for
put our
doing
hand-
spoilers,
we put our
hands down, we're not doing. Okay. Did you kill him?
No. Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
What happened after?
Afterwards, Alexio still says, I killed my father, but like it's like an ambiguous way. Like...
But does daddy go away?
His dad goes away. He says he gives you.
Okay.
He leaves his helmet and says, "I'm gonna leave." And
Okay.
So that way he still.
So then you still have to kill his little protege?
No.
Oh, his protege. Okay, so his protege dude that comes up to you, and then you have to fight him.
Oh,
and I
no.
just kicked him off a hill.
No. Not to do
Okay.
that at all.
Okay, so it does change it
Yeah.
drastically. Okay, cool.
That's-
Hands down.
Okay. Spoiler over. We're clear.
That being said, about all these praises I have for the game, I feel like it is grindy and way imbalanced as far as XP and these side quests are not fucking side quests. It's you got to do these things to actually complete the game, or else you will not be able to fight the next.
Like you won't be leveled up enough?
No.
So a lot of people have complained about that it's pushing you to buy that currency.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that?
Well, I feel like if that currency wasn't there, I would just say the game is imbalanced.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it'd be. I'd be like, well, I'm playing on normal, and I'm not a very good gamer, but I'm playing on normal, and if you're not at the very minimum the same level as someone you're fighting, guess what? You fucking can't beat them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is so abnormal for most games.
Yeah.
Usually there's some leeway, like even in WoW or Skyrim.
You can take
there's
down
some.
somebody at least like a level or two higher.
Yeah, at least one level higher, you can if you've got the skills, you can do it. No, you fucking can't do it.
You might even have trouble with people on your level
Yes.
occasionally. Yeah.
Is it just you don't do enough damage?
Yeah, you don't do enough damage, and they also have literal moves that you can't block. You have to dodge them.
Okay.
But you don't know if you can dodge or block until they flash a color really quick.
Okay.
And so your fingers might be ready to do the button to do
It's either X to dodge or LB and RB to parry.
Yeah, so it's either this to parry and then you can hit
okay.
them, or then you have to dodge away. So it's like if you're playing Dark Souls, just like I gotta fucking dodge until I can hit them. But this is if there might be a chance that I could parry them and then get a hit in. So I gotta see. It's just stupid.
Is it better to parry?
Yeah, because if you parry them, then they are stunned.
You
and
break
get
their
some-
guard.
Yeah.
I normally dodge all the time because I don't know if it's a perk that I got where if you time your dodge correctly, it slows down time
Yeah.
and you can get behind them and then really fuck them up.
But there's no, as opposed to our Arkham games or Spider-Man games or even previous Assassin's Creed games. Assassin's Creed. I know the talk. There's no way of knowing if they're going to do that.
Yeah.
And so it isn't like something that I can figure out when they flash red, I can do this thing to counter. It's like, no, you just got to fucking dodge if they do this.
One of my complaints is that I feel like when you get equipment, you can upgrade your equipment if you want to keep using it. I feel like the materials needed to upgrade are kind of hard to find, and so it's really like, I'm just going to find new gear all the time. And rather than keep equipment and upgrade it, it's better so far for me, it's better just to find new gear and use the
get
new
rid
gear.
of the,
I had less of that problem, but I quickly realized how to get that kind of gear and where to find it, and then you spend a lot of time going to get it because if you do find legendary gears or orange or purple gear and you want to keep it, I find it is better to keep upgrading it. But again,
it requires a lot of obsidian glass, which is sometimes difficult to find.
yeah, and you have to again, unlike side quests, unlike it being optional, it's like if you want to do that, you got to fucking go find it and make it sure you go and get it. You're not going to find along the way very much.
Does that take away from your enjoyment of the game?
It just becomes
being grindy.
Yeah, it just becomes it's repetitive. The combat, in comparison to other games that have come out, we just played Spider-Man, and compared to that, the combat is very repetitive.
Yeah.
There's not a ton to it.
I'll play the counter. And it's because I like stealthy assassin type games.
Sure.
Where you survey a whole building
Sure.
or this whole area and you sneak around and try to slowly take people out one by one.
Sure.
So
It's
that becomes the game for me.
Yeah.
Instead of just hand-to-hand combat, it's I'm gonna see if I can take everyone out without anybody noticing.
However, there's an entire mechanic to the game, whereas to go do conquest battles, which is just stand in a
Which is what we're kind of showing
which
here.
is what
I
we're
think,
showing here, which is just stand in a field and fight a bunch of guys, and so you have to do the combat, and it can get pretty repetitive. And B, I lose them all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not losing. I'm beating guys crazy. It's that you're dependent upon the rest of your army that's fighting with you to actually move down the other team's bar.
You need to do all these other quests to make it easier to defeat the other army you're fighting in a conquest. You have to take out.
Oh, I fucking have weakened that army down to nothing. I've still lost.
Yeah, it's you can't kill people fast enough.
I'm in the middle of fighting the mercenary fight that happens usually in the middle of those conquest battles, and then I can just see the bar going down in my army. What am I supposed to do? I need everyone else to participate in this battle.
The problem I'm having is that since I like assassinating so much, I really heavily invested in the assassin tree of skills.
But then you get to the conquest.
But yeah, then my warrior skill isn't so good, so I can't kill people fast enough. But I realize that's me, so I'm trying to rebalance my skills to have more warrior to do more damage. That way when I go to
For
conquest,
these big epic battles.
right, I'm able to fight people and kill them more quickly.
Right.
I like that the skill tree has a lot of fun things that you can add of all these skills you can add into. You have 4 skills you can have always equipped for your bow and arrow, and you can have 4 skills equipped for either warrior or assassin
You
stuff.
can actually add to that. You can add a second.
Cool.
Eventually, so you can get up to 8.
Cool. But there's variety there of getting, you get to do the 300 this is Sparta kick. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Which is definitely the best the first skill you should get when you're playing
Yeah.
the game.
If there is a cliff, that is the way to like I said.
Or boats. Whenever I board a boat and it's like you have to fight the people on the boat, I just kick them off.
Oh yeah, I never even thought about
Yeah,
that.
just kick them off. You're done in like 2 seconds.
It's awesome.
Bosses, you can just kick. Like if they get.
You can kick them off a
Yeah,
cliff?
you can just.
Oh, that's
if there
great.
is a cliff, you can kick them off, and it does a lot of damage.
It's like, wait a minute, I didn't
Yeah.
plan on this.
This was gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like if you get into.
Should have put more points in balance.
Yeah. As opposed to I think previous Assassin's Creed games that I've played, if you get in the middle of a group of people that are attacking you, you're almost completely fucked unless you just dodge the hell out of there and run away. The last Assassin's Creed game I played, I can't remember which one it was, but I recall that you could at the very least keep dodging or keep like countering and then hit the person who hits you and then counter again, hit the person who hits you and counter again. This one's like, no, you're gonna fucking get fucked
Yeah.
because they're gonna do those moves that they glow red and you can't counter them and some dude is gonna do this like smashing thing that's gonna just demolish you.
Yeah, it's a little harder to deal with a crowd of people.
And I get it, you're supposed to be an assassin, you're supposed to be sneaky, but also on the sneaky side, it's very unforgiving as far as like being caught. Like, granted,
You can run and hide pretty easy.
yeah. Granted, there's like, the game is really silly. Like, say this is the height of my character. There could be grass that's this high, and if you crouch down to like here, but the grass is still here, it's like you glow hidden. And like, all right, I'll fucking take it. I'll take
They're
it.
just walking
Crisis
by you. We
Zero
have no
Dawn.
idea
Yeah.
where he
Like
is.
a Spartan dude from this up is sticking out of grass, and they're like, where'd he go? I can't see him. It's pretty funny.
Keep looking.
I don't know. I have some, like, the game has some really awesome elements to it, and I'm going to keep playing it. It's not broken to the point where I'm like, fuck it, I'm not playing this game. But it's frustrating enough that you're like, you guys are so close.
Yeah. I haven't played a ton of it, but the combat I noticed, and this might be like a leveling issue, my guy felt so slow. And just, it felt like kind of wooden just in the combat, but I'm thinking maybe if I just, give him more, skills, like he'll get better, but that was my
Oh, that was another thing. I early on, like, talking about like movement, but movement across the map, I praised this mechanic where you can get on the horse and automatic get in the path.
Hit the triangle, yeah.
Later on in the game, I found more often than not, you do that, and he is going to go this route that, like, say, like, you're here, you need to go here. There's a little hill here, and then there's a road to it. But the road goes all the way over here and comes back around, and like, you
gonna
tell the
take
horse,
that road.
the horse is going to fucking go there. Like, I set my guy on auto just to see how long it would take, and I went to go, like, cook, and I could hear him, and he took forever.
Yeah.
He's like a bad Uber driver.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
that.
It's like when you're watching your Uber driver drive away from you. You're like, no.
Or when they get in and they ask you for advice on how to get there, like, I don't fucking know. You've been in a car all day, you tell me.
So like in a landscape like Greece that is a bunch of mountains in this
Yes.
thing, the roads are not as accessible. But that being said, as long as you do your the like little synchronized things,
Yeah.
you can fast travel
Yeah.
to a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
But anyway, I really love the game. It's fantastic.
The game is fun, and I'm sure the way I wrote my tweet makes it sound like I just hate the game because anytime you criticize something on the internet, it's 'cause
Right,
you hate
people,
it.
yeah. But you could have criticism of something you like.
Yeah,
Of course.
but like I'm gonna keep playing because again I like the story. Like Cassandra's awesome. Like her interaction with stuff and the naval combat's
How
fun.
many hours have you played so far?
Probably like 15, 20 at this point.
Can we do one more quick spoiler thing? I'm gonna ask you a question. So when we have
Hands
our
up.
hands up, that means there's spoilers, so
Okay.
you can mute. When our hands come down, the spoilers
Hands
are
up.
over. Have you encountered Demos yet?
Who's that?
Okay, never mind.
No, wait. I don't remember names. You have to describe who they are.
Have you found the cult meeting?
Yes, I've gone to the cult meeting.
And then their
her-
weapon shows up?
Yes, I have that. I've done that.
Who was the weapon for you?
Her brother.
Okay. For me as Alexios, it's Cassandra who's Demos. So I was
Gotcha.
curious to know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just flip.
It's
okay.
just it's gender flip.
All right. Spoilers over. I'm just curious about that.
Yeah.
Welcome back. All right, y'all been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Nick, what have you been playing?
I've just been playing some Nintendo Switch Online NES games. I'm really exciting, I know, but I played all through Mario 3, beat every single level. That game is still great.
That still holds up really well.
It really does.
That game
It
blew
really
my
does.
fucking mind as a little kid when it came out on the NES. I was like,
Yeah.
you can do this?
Yeah.
I was like, why is this so much better than the first
Yeah.
Mario? But apparently they put like a chip in there's something in the cartridge
Oh, is there?
that kind of beefed the graphics up.
Yeah, graphics were
okay.
crazy. They
Yeah.
like added like items.
Flight? Yeah, the whole
the
flight was
Bonus games.
Even
Yeah.
holding items like over through the game. Like
It
you could
was
start a map
so-
with an item used.
It was awesome.
That's a great
Warp
game.
whistles.
It is. The worst part about that was I was hoarding like the max amount of items you can, and I got the Hammer Brothers suit, which is like really hard to find.
Yeah.
And then I, without even thinking about it, go into a Toad house and get like a mushroom or something, which then immediately replaces the Hammer Brothers suit.
God.
But I beat that game all the way through. It's fantastic. Now I'm actually kind of exploring some games I never played growing up. Solomon's Key.
I was
they
going to
just put
ask you about that.
Yeah.
I owned that back in the day. It's
Did
so fucking hard.
Yeah,
I don't think I beat it because it's just like.
Every NES game is fucking hard.
That is true, but this had a bunch of like one-hit death. You have no offense. You just make blocks, and you're basically trying to avoid all the enemies on the screen, of which there are many.
Yeah, so all I knew about the game was the title. I didn't know anything else about it, so I just kind of jumped right in to try to figure out what you're even supposed to do. It's actually pretty surprisingly good at explaining the gist of what you do.
Right.
What it took me a couple tries to figure out was how exactly I move around and stuff. Like the thing that threw me off the most right away was using up to jump.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
That's a little weird.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's Smash.
Yeah, but I turn tap jump off in Smash. I use a button to jump. So I'm not even used to it there anymore.
I just use that.
I turned that on. I played like a couple of stages because it goes in stages and you're trying to escape the room and ultimately find Solomon's Key. It just gave me such flashbacks. Like I sort of remembered the pattern. And it's like, I don't know how old, but it's like from the 80s, I think.
Yeah, in 1987.
It's like, jeez.
Yeah, I just played the first 10 rooms. I've been cheating massively and using save states whenever I make even a little bit of progress.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm one of those, yeah.
The Switch works like a emulator where you can do save states.
Safe.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
How did you, as a young gamer, how did you like it? Like, what did you think of a game like this?
Of Solomon's Key?
Yeah.
I never played it until last night for the first time.
Yeah.
But I did grow up with an NES.
Okay.
So we had Mario 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Ninja Turtles 1 and 2.
Oh, God.
Another brute.
Yeah. Captain Skyhawk, which was an early Rare game. What else? Tetris, Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario was awesome. I still love
First
Dr.
thing,
Mario.
Track and Field 2, which you could use the...
With the pad, with the game pad?
That was world-class track meet,
Yes.
which I had Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt and world-class track meet all in one cartridge.
Rich kid.
We actually used to have the power pad too. And
Yeah. And then you give up and start using your hands.
Exactly.
So you're not, I'm not
yeah.
going to exercise.
There's some ancient home video of my parents playing that or something like that.
Yeah.
But I remember we traded that in to get Captain Skyhawk. Gosh, just a really quick little tidbit. I knew how to play Mario Brothers 3 pretty well before I ever even could play on my own, because when my parents decided they didn't want to parent me for an hour or so, I was like 2 years old, they had this VHS tape recording of my dad playing Mario Brothers 3. So like they would hit play on that, give me a controller, and I thought I was playing.
Wow.
The old unplugged controller.
Yeah,
Funny.
exactly. So like before I even knew how to control Mario on my own, I knew exactly how to get the 2 warp whistles and get to World 8. So like I remember I blew my first best friend Cameron's mind with that.
Yeah.
He had the Super NES version. And so like I was showing him like all this stuff and he's like, "Mom, Nick's like destroying this game," or whatever. Yeah.
Call the police.
Call the police. Yeah. So that's always great for going down memory lane.
They had a tournament at the mall for Mario 3, like who could get the highest score.
Let's just stop and listen to that sentence.
But
they had a tournament
at the mall. But the kid who won knew about the trick where you could get like unlimited one-ups.
Yeah.
And like when they're coming out of the pipe, I think it's like the second level or something. And yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, the one that I knew that trick on was from much later. I can't remember if it was World 3 or 4 or 5. It was something like that, about halfway through the game.
Yeah.
I totally did it there when I was playing on the Switch.
It's a great.
I read real fast about what you're talking about with the extra chip in the Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
It says it uses Nintendo's custom MMC3 or memory management controller to enhance the NES capabilities. The chip allows for animated tiles, extra RAM for diagonal scrolling, and a scan line timer to split the screen. So they would split the screen so that the bottom part with the status bar wouldn't move and the top part would move as you went through the game.
That's clever.
I'm glad that's just not something I made up.
No, like that's pretty serious. Like they added a lot.
The hardware of a game being able to add on to the console itself is a non-existent thing at this point.
yeah.
Like you're not gonna like download parts of like the new Assassin's Creed that's gonna boost up.
Yeah, Nintendo did that. I remember with the NES and the SNES as well. Remember they had the Super FX chip, was it?
Right.
That
For
came
Star
out for
Fox,
Star
I
Fox,
think?
and they used it in some other game too.
I think the closest. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, I think that was also because of the limited hardware. At least that is one of the theories of why those games were so hard. Because if they weren't, you could just speed through. Because the file sizes were tiny.
Yeah.
So if they weren't brutally difficult, you would beat them in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, you had to get $60 worth of value out of these games somehow, right? I think the last time, at least that I'm aware of, that Nintendo did a specialized, hardware type of thing, was Smash Brothers Brawl, because that was a dual layer DVD disc.
Okay.
And that was pretty relatively unique to that game, at least when it came out. That's the last thing I'm aware of. There's probably been some
And then
others.
and before that I remember the Nintendo 64 for what wasn't it Ocarina of Time or Majora's
Mask
came
and
with
Donkey
a
Kong
little
64.
Yeah,
the
a
expansion pack.
And you needed to play 4-player split screen for Perfect Dark for Perfect Dark, I believe.
Yeah, they had all these like little workarounds.
It increased the resolution for some games. Like there's Hybrid Heaven, which I have had that cartridge for a couple of years. I only played it for the first time a couple months back, and there's an option to play with like 60 frames per second, because if you have the expansion pack, you can play, I think it's expansion pack dependent, you can play at 60 frames per second, but garbage resolution, or slightly better resolution, 10 frames per second.
I was gonna joke. 5 frames.
It's kind of like the PS4 Pro when you have the option to play either 4K, with maybe a lower frame rate, or 1080 with a higher frame rate, where they do like optimized resolution or frame rate.
Except you're talking about a Nintendo 64 here, where that little bit of resolution difference actually matters tremendously.
Right.
You're looking at emulated footage right now, I think, because I definitely don't remember it looking this good.
that crisp.
Yeah.
I am playing Super Mario Party still. I played with my daughter yesterday, but I made her promise she couldn't cry. Like if things didn't go her way.
That bad?
It's a Mario Party game.
They just and she's 5, so again, we talked about this last week. She cannot regulate her emotions as well. So it's like if she won a mini game, that was great. She would be really happy. But if she lost, it was like crushing. Or if a roll didn't go her way.
I cannot wait to get this game. I'm not getting my Switch until Pokemon Let's Go comes out, but I cannot wait to get this game and play with my kids.
It's fun. It's the board game
Pit
is
them
great.
against each other.
Yeah, the mini games, all that. But you are you're in direct competition, and there will be tears.
If I get the Switch and then I want the 3 of us to play, what would I need for 3 people to play?
You need 3 Joy-Cons.
Okay, so you do need
You need to drop
Joy-Con.
$80 on another set of Joy-Cons.
Yeah, those ridiculously overpriced.
How much is it for an individual one? It's like 40, 30, something like that.
It's
not cheap.
But to get
pretty
another
sure you
set,
can.
it's $80.
I think so.
How much is like an Xbox controller?
You can't.
Isn't an Xbox
Like
controller like
50 or 60.
Oh, okay, so it is a bit more.
Yeah, you can't use a Pro because it uses a lot of the it uses vibration for some of the mini games, like all kind,
Okay,
Well,
so that's going to be adding to my cart of what I'm getting for Pokemon Let's Go.
The Pro Controller has all the functionality that a Mario Party would theoretically need, but it's just not compatible.
They use motion controls for some stuff.
There's a gyro in the Pro Controller, though.
But it might be motion controls like on the individual Joy-Cons, because if you have the
Maybe, I don't know. You'd think that there'd be a way in this day and age to program Mario Party so that it can use a Pro Controller.
They want to move some Joy-Cons, clearly. But it is fun. It's a Mario Party game, so if you play it with a bunch of people, it's super fun. If
You're gonna ruin friendships.
Yeah, if you played it by yourself, it seems like it would be wildly depressing.
Have you ever played Banana Split?
With the multiple switches?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It looks, but they're fun. I mean, the mini games are fun and all that.
If I bring in my Switch, can we do like the multiple Switch?
Totally.
Okay,
That'll
we'll
be
do
fun. Also checked out a little bit of Black Ops 4. But I'm not a huge, disclaimer, Battle Royale person. I suck at them. So it seemed fine. I know people were like really into it, but I don't. It seems like a smoother PUBG. Like,
Is that all
more
anybody's
polished.
playing on it? The Battle Royale?
The Blackout?
That's pretty much it.
That's the main hook to this one now.
So okay, wait. So I might be asking the wrong people, but the game itself.
Yes.
There is no main campaign.
Nope.
No, and that's what I don't like about it.
Right.
Because it's just, here's all the multiplayer options.
There's no main campaign. There's the regular, usual multiplayer ranked gaming kind of thing.
Yep.
And then there's the Blackout Battle Royale, and that's what everyone
And there's zombies.
There's,
and
the zombie
There's
scenarios, that kind of
multiple
thing. Okay.
modes, yeah. But I think right now the Blackout's definitely the main selling point. And it's fun. If you like Battle Royale, I think you'll like it. But I'm not in like a great position to judge because I'm not that good at them. I get my main way of doing well is to hide, like on the outside.
That's a strategy.
And just not, hopefully nobody sees me.
I played Fortnite once, and that's what I did. I hid in a gas station for much of the game. I was playing on Switch for whatever that matters, and I made top 15 or so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The first time I ever got to second place in PUBG was hiding.
Nice.
And then it came down to oh shit, I have to kill the last guy.
And he's good because he made it to the end.
Yeah, he got me. I did not win.
One of my favorite PUBG videos was someone who beat around in just vehicles.
I've seen that.
That was great. I mean, but to talk about Battle Royale stuff for 2 seconds, I played a ton of PUBG. I didn't get into Fortnite mostly because there was a whole nother learning curve to add the whole building mechanic to it. And also all of the realism of PUBG was kind of thrown out the window for a little bit of a more, conventional, unrealistic, cartoony kind of style. And I am not a very good gamer, and so the fact that usually when I find a game that I either like enough that I want to get good at, or I'm magically naturally a little good at, I'll stick with that. PUBG was that. Fortnite was like, oh cool, I have to learn. Nope, I'm good. I'm gonna go play these single player games that are a lot more fun, or I'm gonna go back to Overwatch, something that I know. While Blackout looks like it follows a little more of the PUBG style of what I watch the gameplay, I don't know. Is the game pulling in new people?
See, I don't know. Yeah, or is it, or are people leaving Fortnite and other, PUBG for this?
I don't think they are.
People are leaving PUBG, I think.
Oh, I think
PUBG's been bleeding,
hemorrhaging.
but it was gutted by Fortnite, is what it was gutted by.
Yeah.
Right. This is just the finishing.
Blackout is just coming in with a little shiv. It's like, I'm helping too. That's all it is.
Right.
But I think, we'll find out.
I watched
soon.
Halloween last night. Apparently, that's how my brain is just cutting.
Once we start to see sales numbers, I think Blackout has probably been trending more positively than the past couple iterations of Call of Duty, and I think it's got a lot of really positive buzz, and I think it's going to sell really well.
Yeah,
It's got a grappling hook.
Activision said they put out they didn't give sales numbers, but they said it's the best day one launch in our company's history, which but it seems like they all kind of say that now.
Oh, yeah.
That seems like.
Also, who checks it?
Right, exactly.
And can you accurately check it?
Right.
You can't.
No.
So it's a game of see if I'm lying. I might be lying.
Yeah.
You don't know. We're successful. Everyone talks about it. Everyone knows that we exist.
Right.
Fuck you.
Right. They're just, there's this effort to just have a lot of good buzz around it in that launch month, sell all that they're going to sell.
I will say, you can't directly necessarily account for it, but since they're a publicly traded company, they do need to report revenue.
At some point,
so if you're lying about the number you're selling, then your books aren't going to add up.
Totally. That is where you can't lie. But as far as these little blurbs that they want to throw out right at the beginning of it being launched, you can say almost anything you want within reason. That might not necessarily have the most for sure data behind it.
Yeah, they put out a statement. This was a couple days ago. It was a bit of a qualified. It is set.
There's a lot of adjectives added on to what that is.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has set a new launch day record as the biggest day one digital release in Activision history.
Well, it makes sense because it's an online required game.
Yeah. It broke the sales for the first digital sales for the first day, broke the franchise record set in 2017 by Call of Duty World War II. So
that's like when a movie comes out and says we were the biggest R-rated horror film that ever released on Labor Day.
Right.
Yeah. It's
like
non-holiday February release.
Congratulations.
Good job.
You did it. Good. Yeah. Okay. While this is not that specific, it is along those lines of cool. I mean, that means they did well against themselves for the most part.
Right.
Which is a juggernaut.
And Activision, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Activision's
It's also a
big-ass
metric that
company.
you basically measure yourself against, most consistently, because as long as you do better than you did last year, you're being successful.
Most people would
growing,
want to sell
Correct.
more copies of their game than Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to measure yourself against that, you're measuring yourself against a high bar to begin with.
It does, but the lack of a single-player campaign for me is a turnoff.
Yeah.
I had sort of the same feeling I did when I got Battlefront.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, where's the rest of the game? That's great that there's all these modes. It's fun. I liked it. I'm not comparing it completely to Battlefront, but I was left with like, okay, now like what can I
Now
do?
what,
there?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's an esports arena for Black Ops, correct?
I believe
yeah.
so,
Oh, I think so. Yeah, there's a scene. Yeah.
Check that out. I'd be curious to
it's
watch.
huge.
I mean, I sound like an idiot probably saying that, which is not uncommon for me on the show. But
Call of Duty has its place in esports for sure.
yeah, for sure. I actually be very curious to watch that because I've watched lots of Let's Plays of Black Ops, like even just specifically Achievement Hunter. They used to do Black Ops Let's Plays eons ago all the time, way before they did Siege, and I loved watching those. So I might have to check it out, just at the very least as a audience kind of game.
Yeah. I also kind of want to watch just for people who are good at it.
Yeah.
See, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
what does it look like to know what you're doing?
right. Oh, so that's what good people do. Okay, I'm going to take that.
Okay, so can I segue into a question
Please.
though? Just that we've probably talked a bunch. I asked Instagram, like, I was like, hey, I'm going to go on Glitch Plays. What video game questions? And one person specifically asked, like, where are we at with the battle royale bubble? Is there a bubble anymore? Is it just a staple genre?
I think we were expecting more bubble-like activity out of E3, but it felt like everyone was very restrained in their battle royale approach. I think there's still plenty of room for growth. There's plenty of room for more good entries into the genre. I think if we continue to see it, we're on the path for stable genre-defining games, so that it could theoretically be a kind of genre that sticks around. I'm not seeing everyone throw it in for the sake of having it in, so I don't think it's going to necessarily go away.
FPS, like deathmatch style games, there's a ton out there that are all competing against each other, and it's not like oh no, everyone only plays Counter-Strike. Like no, they don't. There's like 6 out there that are the major ones.
And it could be the kind of thing where it's stable and sticks around for a couple of years and goes away. Like Horde mode was huge. Every game had Horde mode for a while, and that was fun. And I feel like you don't see that as frequently anymore.
Yeah.
And then
But so that's you talking about it more like a game mode.
Oh no, I consider it a mode.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like, yeah, it's just a mode that now the bigger games,
But
like
Fortnite-
or
but-
Battlefield 5 are just going to put in their game. Like,
It can
yeah,
be
we
a
got
mode,
Battle
but it
Royale.
also can be an entire game.
Yeah. Yep.
I wouldn't say Fortnite. Fortnite is not
yeah.
a battle royale. Fortnite is a totally different game.
It's like a tower defense game.
Right, than Fortnite
But
Battle Royale.
The Battle Royale just became
It blew up.
way
Okay.
bigger
But
than
that's-
anything
but
else.
That's like, it's a battle royale game.
But it's a mode in Fortnite.
I get what you're saying.
Or
it is
it
game
will
mode. It's
or it will
game
stick
mode.
around, just not as big. MOBAs are still around.
They're just- they have a very specific,
Right, League is still around. They're just not what they were.
Actually, I'm kind of
5
glad you
years
brought
ago.
that up. I was looking at stats just on Twitch for like who is currently popular on Twitch. The top 3 are Fortnite, League of Legends, and Call of Duty Black Ops 4. But to kind of give you some perspective in terms of at least people watching Twitch and for entertainment purposes, Fortnite has 206,000 viewers and Black Ops 4 has 122,000. League is right in the middle at 131,000.
Yeah.
So
League is just this animal.
It's
just
huge.
This,
Yeah.
It's this dragon that will never die, and enough people in the world keep feeding it treasure, and
It's like World of Warcraft. It's like it outlived all the other MMOs.
World of
like 10
Warcraft-
years ago, MMOs
and people were still talking about it
shit.
like just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I think of World of Warcraft as a different animal than League of Legends
Yeah.
because maybe it's because I know a lot more people who play World of Warcraft and still jump back into it.
Right.
I don't hear of anybody I know jumping either back into or for the first time ever into League. Like no one's like, you know what, I'm gonna finally check out League. It's just
Why is everyone mad at me
It just-
all the time?
it's a user base that just hums along. And to say that it is doing better than a brand new game that just came out and League is nothing new,
Right.
like that's amazing to me.
League was kind of the first to like really, I mean, not the first, but they have a huge market in esports. And they made that
Yeah.
push.
No,
so
I
that
get people
that's
still watch
why.
it.
That's why it's kind of stuck around.
But
so.
Twitch is not esports.
No, not at
necessarily.
all. But they have like their yearly tournaments that are
They do.
huge. And I also on esports, there is a Black Ops 4 tournament happening December 7th through the 9th called CWL Vegas. But it's the first Black Ops 4 esports tournament happening.
But right now on Wednesday morning, there is I don't think a big League event happening right now. And so whoever's playing on Twitch right now is just a gamer playing.
I know what you mean though, because I feel the same way about GTA Online. Like who plays this? But it's always up there.
Yeah.
The top
They're adding more
streamers
stuff to
right
it
now
still.
for
Yeah.
League are pretty much pro players. You have
Yeah, and I get
lot of
that. People watch pro
So
players.
people are watching to kind of get better, but it's
Yeah.
just pros practicing. Or for
And
the most part,
the same with
That makes
Overwatch.
sense,
Top
yeah.
Overwatch streamers are
Right.
pro players. I get it.
Makes sense.
One other thing I wanted to mention. Starlink came out yesterday and I
You
bought
bought
it.
toys.
I bought a toy.
Did you? Yeah, I heard there were some reports online of people having their packages like opened. Or
Oh,
something.
really?
Yeah. some
Mine's
of the
actually this when I got it, this was open, and then this is
Motherfucker.
like ripped. This one's still sealed. I got it from Amazon, so
Some
I'm on
funny business.
Amazon.
Yeah, people were reporting that.
But it seems like it's still sealed. I don't know.
opened it up.
I haven't played it yet. I just got it last night, and I was trying to finish Odyssey before I get into this.
You literally bought that because it was Star Fox.
Right.
You have
When
no
they-
connection to Starlink.
When they announced Starlink, I was like, and then they announced like, oh, it's got
At
Star
E3.
Fox. Yeah, I was like, I pulled out my laptop and I pre-ordered it.
I think
right
you said
then.
that out loud at E3, and we all heard you say, like, I'm getting that.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it. I like that. It's totally. It sounds like a Saturday morning commercial. Complete your fleet. Each item sold separately. You know, it's got like all these photos of different things you can buy.
It's got 3 kids having a great time.
Yeah.
Like, yay!
So I'm curious to check it out.
What is Starlink?
I don't know. It's got Star Fox. That's
It's
all I
like
know.
it's like a toys to life.
That's all I know
game.
too.
But the toys
I thought
give
those
you.
kind of died off though. Like
They really
Skylanders-
have.
Yeah.
Disney.
Disney Infinity's gone.
It
But
just out
like,
of nowhere.
yeah, it's like you buy, and I think they're components for your ship. When you can get more of them. But yeah,
It's physical.
we've got an
DLC.
unboxing. This is now an unboxing show.
Oh, John, so actually I just found this out. There is a major League of Legends tournament going on right now for esports. There are world championships happening right now.
Right now, this moment?
Right, and
Well,
actually
then there you go.
surprisingly, yeah,
I think it's
surprisingly
just-
enough,
I think it's just one
they're
of
like
those
the 7th or 8th person down on the list. Like there are pro players just kind of playing casually that are ranked higher than them on like the Twitch like numbers right now, which is really, really weird.
Well, look at Smash. I mean, people are still playing Melee. You know.
Oh, yeah,
There's,
absolutely.
Like, I mean, not as big as League, obviously. How is it?
I broke it.
Are you
Oh,
happy
there
with
it
your
is.
purchase?
Are you having fun? What would you rate it?
It seems solid. It seems.
Why
put
is
together.
Star Fox like your favorite?
It's not my favorite necessarily. I just really like the game. I mean,
one of the- yeah.
So we'll see. I looked it up on Metacritic. It's got about a 76 Metascore right now,
Star
which
Fox
seems
is going to be like a
all right.
couple of levels, isn't it? It's not going to be a full Star Fox campaign, is it?
I don't think so. But from what I've seen so far online, I'm seeing a little more than I was expecting. It seems like maybe the content's a little more in depth. It seemed like it was just maybe like a quick cameo or something. But I don't know. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to play it once I'm done with Odyssey, and I'll have a lot more to say about it.
All right, so that about does it for what we're playing. We'll do some news, but first, this episode of Glitch Please is brought to you by Loot Crate Gaming. Loot Gaming is a monthly subscription box delivered to your door directly with exclusive pop culture collectibles, apparel, and gear. Loot Gaming curates everything themselves. You can't find these items anywhere else. No matter what you geek out about, this is for you. Over 30 million crates have been sold. Get one-of-the-kind items for the best video game franchises. The October crate, this is pretty awesome. 4 incredible franchises: Soul Calibur 2, Silent Hill, Psychonauts, and Cuphead. I love Cuphead. That is one of my favorite games. There is a guaranteed shirt in every crate. I love Loot Crate. It's the best gift that comes in the mail. It's like a little gift to yourself every month. It keeps on giving. It's so fun to open a new box, go through all the cool new treasures. This crate, the October one, will sell out. You must order by this week to guarantee yours. Get the best surprises each month from the largest geek and gaming subscription company. Geek out in style with Loot Crate. Subscribe now by going to lootcrate.com/glitch. Enter my code GLITCH to save an exclusive 30% off your subscription. Can't beat that. Subscribe now by going to lootcrate.com/glitch. All right, so now let's do some news, guys.
News.
So I think one of the big ones this week, did you guys get the PSN message bug?
I did
Screwed
not
up your
encounter
console?
that. No.
I didn't either. I was terrified because we did a story on it, and everyone was saying set your messages to private.
Yeah, my
So
messages are already kind of locked down anyway. So
I stupidly had anyone, so I was like, fuck. So I ran home and changed it. But yeah.
If you don't turn your PlayStation on the whole time this has been going on, are you in danger?
no, because I think
'Cause-
they've patched it now. Correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So I
yes.
think probably
It's a
it'll-
question mark if they have.
Yeah. people were getting this. This happened over the weekend. People were playing, especially like I think it was, especially in Destiny 2 and Rainbow Six Siege. They were getting random messages, and it was causing them to one, like just like their consoles were seemingly bricking or going into like a crash loop.
Yeah.
Sony seemed to be downplaying it, like this can be fixed in 5 minutes, you just need to reboot in safe mode and all this stuff, but it feels like they were downplaying it a little bit. Like this was a pretty big fucking deal.
Someone was attacking people, is that what it was?
Yeah, it was, you would get a message of just sort of gibberish or just sort of one word repeated over and over.
No one likes me enough to try to crash my
So
console.
Sony says that they fixed it.
Yeah.
That says it wasn't breaking consoles, it was sending them into a crash loop, and we quickly fixed it under 5 minutes.
Sure.
So they said the fix was you delete the messages on the PS Mobile app, boot into safe mode, use option 5, and then console back to normal. So it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
You weren't necessarily bricked, but it was like, fuck. If you don't have the mobile app, you got to get all that going. And
They seem to sort of give the annoyed IT guy explanation, like sort of annoyed at us for having the problem.
We tried
Turn
to
it off,
just
tech on.
Yeah. But yeah, they finally, it seems like it's back to normal now. Just to be safe, I've still have my messages set to nobody. Nobody can send me messages.
I should do that anyway because all I ever get are spam messages. I don't play any multiplayer games except Dragon Ball Fighters on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like I'm really encountering anybody on the regular.
I don't think I even have a Plus account yet.
Really?
I message because I just haven't. I haven't.
Oh, you just got one.
I just got one.
Oh, right.
I haven't needed to buy the Plus thing yet because I don't have any reason because I don't multiplayer on.
If you don't go online.
I don't go online or anything like that. So maybe that's why I'm safe.
See, it's a relatively new account. You probably aren't connected to many people.
No, I have no. I have
haven't
no
played
friends
online?
whatsoever
Yeah.
on there. It's an account that I had for forever that I must have made a long time ago for some Let's Play we did.
Yeah, we might have been for like Capsule Force or something.
Because I think maybe Miles is my friend or something. I might have like 1 or 2 friends, but yeah, it's not an account that's like out there.
Yeah, the exact issue for the PS4 was that it would get stuck in a soft brick, so it would just be continually stuck in a boot loop where you would turn it on, it would try to boot, and then crash again. And people would think, oh, the only way to fix this is just to completely reset my PS4 and build a new, wipe all their data.
Everyone knows soft bricks are the worst bricks. Let's be serious.
Comedy
Real
comedy
talk
bricks.
here.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully it's fixed and nobody had any lasting damage. Speaking of Sony, it also looks like they are sort of getting ready for the PlayStation 5. They haven't used that term, but people noticed some job postings on LinkedIn that appear to be very related. One of them is for a senior product manager, and there's a phrase that really stuck out. It says, "You will own the roadmap for the next generation PlayStation campaign." So,
Yeah, marketing. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Can we start like maybe a department or a company pool of what they're gonna name it? Because like
You
obviously,
don't think it's going to be the
It's gonna be
5?
Well,
PlayStation
I'm
5.
saying-
They've really stuck with it.
okay, I'm saying they have up to this point. There's gonna Apple did that with the iPhone. They stuck with just the conventional number thing for quite a while, and then they're like, we're gonna add letters to it.
No, it's the iPhone 10.
Yeah, it is
It's an
iPhone 10.
X, but it's the
No,
Roman
but they added like
There's
the
no
S
9 for
and
some
stuff like
reason.
that.
Oh,
and
they
then-
did that forever ago. They started that with the 3GS.
Okay,
S is like
that's
like the
true.
PS4
Third
Pro.
iteration.
Right. But they still went the iPhone X, and they all still
10.
It's the X.
It's
And
the 10.
Didn't they skip a number at one point?
9.
They skipped 9.
Windows also skipped 9.
That's the saying, is that people have been known to go like, hey, let's just fuck with people at this point. And
What
so
do you think they're going to name it instead?
I really want them to do something strange. I want them to do the PlayStation.
The Joy Box.
Yeah. But they're going to go with PlayStation something. So it could very well be the 5. I'm looking at this logo of this mock-up. It looks like the PSS is what it looks like.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, I just think it'd be fun to make I mean, obviously, the odds would be the favorite PS5.
I sent you a friend request on PlayStation.
Did you?
A long time ago. You never accepted it. I see it. I thought we might be friends.
It's hard not to take that personally.
It's hard to accept friend requests when you don't have a console.
When you don't own the console.
Yeah. So, and also, I'm still learning the user interface of this fucking thing. At the best, I can get to my game that I'm gonna play, and I just don't feel like learning the rest.
Yeah.
So I will accept. Can I do it with one of the 20 apps you have to in order to control the goddamn
need the
thing?
app.
This reminds me of when my mom unfollowed me on Twitter. And I messaged her. I was like, "What the hell, Mom?" She was like, "Oh, it's been doing that lately." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what everybody says."
But anyway, to get back to the subject at hand, they're definitely going to stick with PlayStation 5. They've had, 20 years of
Oh, it's
marketing.
just you and
branding.
Miles are the only ones who've sent me friend requests. All right.
20 years of marketing and branding into this. They're not going to change it. Like you gave the example of Apple. They did that they went from the original iPhone to the iPhone 3G. So they did it immediately on their second iteration.
Well, that was named after the 3G network,
Right,
wasn't it?
and then the
But
3GS.
they just kind of
So they
quietly
skipped,
stopped
right.
it.
So we've seen it happen before.
I like the number. I like it.
I
this
like
is
it
our
too.
fifth one.
It's logical.
I thought what Xbox did with the Xbox One, it was so stupid. Like,
No.
why
Yep.
is this
Like,
the one?
The Fast and Furious franchise is the most annoying naming convention ever, and I hate it. Like, name your movie, the number, and then throw a little addendum onto there,
Right.
your little
Right.
subtitle. Don't like change fucking titles every
Right.
goddamn time.
Right.
So I'm fine with PlayStation doing that, but I just know that like when you get to a point in a iteration of a product, you start.
When do they stop?
Yeah, you start doing odd things to try to get buzz, and that's why Xbox was like, we're gonna just be weird with our naming convention.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
In fact, it's confusing.
It is.
It might be one of the
It
worst
is.
Right.
directions that we could have gone.
Wait, we have an Xbox One? Is that the? No, it's not the first one.
No, it's the
Now
new one.
Now you have to say original Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an Xbox One and an Xbox 360. Where are all the ones in between? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it's actually getting about that time to start thinking about the next generation already. I feel like I just got it.
No, it worked.
I feel like I just got a PS4 too.
We're absolutely due. I mean, PS4 launched 5 years ago now.
I know, which
That's
is
when
crazy
it.
to
Yeah,
think
that's
about.
when it starts.
We're at
5
that
years
point.
from now, I'll get the PS4.
We really are, though.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're all maybe a little spoiled. The Xbox 360 and PS3 generation
That
lasted
generation
a little
was-
abnormally long. But we're definitely at a point where we'll probably see information about it next E3.
Yeah.
Maybe not a full announcement, but maybe they might talk about it, kind of like how Microsoft teased Project
Scorpio, yeah.
a year out. Maybe that kind of thing.
Remind me what Scorpio turned out being?
Xbox One X.
One.
It was the X, right?
Yeah.
It'll be surprise, but will Sony be the one to usher in the new generation? Because usually it's the person, usually it's the
lagging.
company lagging
Yeah.
who will like. So this has Microsoft written all over
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I think.
It's Microsoft's show to fuck up.
Yeah. Okay, what else in the news? Oh, let's talk a little bit about Rockstar and Red Dead 2. Rockstar got into some controversy after one of the co-founders of the studio, Dan Houser, gave an interview to Vulture talking about the development of Red Dead Redemption 2. Obviously, it's coming out soon. He mentioned the phrase, "We were working 100-hour weeks." And that really set everyone off in terms of, it brought up issues of crunch culture. Also, a 100-hour week is insane. That's, if
100-hour
you
week.
divide it by, that's over 14 hours a day, 7 days.
If you work all 7 days a week,
Yes.
that's a 14-hour day. So that's 7 days a week of working a longer day than most people work.
Right.
Just a regular day.
And even people, there were people in the industry saying, you should not work your employees like that. He walked it back a little bit, saying, he gave a statement later to Kotaku saying that this was just a small writing staff that was working that, and we only did it for a few weeks, not years. But it brings up all these issues again of game
Regardless
development.
of what he was referencing as far as the specifics, he was using it in a boastful term.
Yes.
And I don't think even if you were doing that for like, you said you had a staff that you were doing that for a week.
Yeah.
Don't boast it.
Yeah, well, I'm also curious, like, when did this happen, right? I haven't read his updated. I've read that he, talked about how it's writers and it was a small team doing it. But was this something that happened at the very beginning of the development cycle? Is it something that happened recently? Because I don't imagine that you do a lot of writing in the back portion of your development cycle. Like all of that should be locked up in the front. So why would you talk about something that happened 7 years ago?
This is what he said to the clarification. He said, after working on the game for 7 years, the senior writing team, which consists of 4 people, Mike Unsworth, Rupert Humphreys, Laszlo, and myself, had, as we always do, 3 weeks of intense work when we wrapped everything up. 3 weeks, not years. We have all worked together at least 12 years now and feel we need this to get everything finished. So it does feel weird to like do some writing on the back end, because you would think that
300-hour weeks.
Yeah.
That's a lot of writing.
That's a lot of hours.
It's fishy, and then it's just also something that like that should not be a metric of something that anybody should be patted on the back for.
I just realized it may have sounded like I said 300 hours. I meant 100-hour
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
I want to clarify.
The original quote was they were talking about polishing, rewrites, re-edits. Hauser said, "We were working 100-hour weeks several times in and then paraphrase several times in 2018." Dan says the finished game includes 300,000 animations, 500,000 lines of dialogue, many more lines of code. So he's giving some sort of like idea of like the scope. This is a massive game, and we were working these insane hours.
It rubs me the wrong way. Like, even if you get all the way down to that, it was only for 3 weeks, and it was your senior writing staff, and let's say all these guys were totally on board and are loving this, like, and they chose to they're like, yeah, we're down to do 100-hour weeks, and we want to make this as good as possible. That's you setting the precedent that that is what makes a good worker,
right? Because
or a talented person, or an artist.
Because in any job, you don't leave before the boss leaves. Like, it's not a good idea if your boss is still there at 6 o'clock at night and you're like, well, see you later, I gotta go. That's not I certainly don't do that in my job. It's not a good idea. So it sets I think you're exactly right. It sets the pace of, well, we're doing it, and we're the fucking bosses. We're the senior writing team. What have you been doing?
Like, we all know that there is crunch with this stuff, and we all know that senior staff, often if they're involved hands-on with the project, they will be there a lot more than a lot of other people if they are hands-on. But this was him saying that in order to make a certain group of him and his people seem superhero-like in the video game world.
Right. Our games are so awesome because we bust our asses on them.
Which we get. You can tell when a project, be it a video game or any other kind of media, you can tell when people took the time and really wanted to make something good.
You don't work on something for 7 years if you don't want it to turn out as best as it can.
Oh, yeah.
And this
I think that by itself should say all that needs to be said.
This has come up before with Rockstar. You remember when the first Red Dead came out, there was the group of spouses of employees at Rockstar San Diego saying, you're working them 12 hours a day, mandatory Saturdays. So this is happening. But not just Rockstar. Crunch has been around forever. Like going back to, for Disney fans out there, Snow White, Walt Disney apparently worked the shit out of those fucking animators.
Oh, yeah.
And even at the beginning, like in the first credit of Snow White's, he like thanks all the employees. You can tell he's trying to like, hey, thanks for killing yourself to make this happen.
It's something that exists, and even like in film production, it's completely common to be working like 6-day weeks that you're working 12-hour days and that kind of thing. But I think when you're using that as a reason why you can boast and talk about so well about your game, it's perpetuating a culture or it's
celebrating it.
It's celebrating a norm that shouldn't be celebrated.
I have that feeling too when I go by a business and they're like, we're open Thanksgiving, we're open Christmas. It's like, well, fuck. That's not something to brag about. What about your poor
I know. I feel so bad for these people.
Well, there might be people who enjoy that. When I used to work,
guess.
I will say, I will defend that. I used to work at a call center when I first moved to Austin, and I loved the holidays because I had no family in town. So it's like if I went in and worked Thanksgiving and Christmas, I would get double pay.
That's fair.
That's a very specific flavor of employee.
But I'm saying there are people who exist like that. So if you're talking about restaurants in the service industry, I'm sure there's people who work and do the same thing and who are willing to work for extra money.
I'd still bet that those are a pretty small minority, though. I bet most people would.
I worked in a movie theater in college. Yeah, we were. I mean, Thanksgiving, the holidays, those were huge times. Like you better be open.
And we go to I go to movies on the holidays.
Yeah. So one more thing about Rockstar and Red Dead. They also, I believe this was in that same article, Dan Hauser talked about voice acting. And I just thought he gave an interesting, this is the Vulture interview. He says they don't use celebrity voice actors anymore because of the egos. And he mentioned specifically Burt Reynolds, who was in GTA Vice City. They got into an argument about the direction of a scene, at which point Reynolds yells, "Get the limey out of here." So yeah, he says, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, poor bugger, says Hauser, but we don't bring in name actors anymore because of their egos, and most important of all, because we believe we get a better sense of immersion using talented actors whose voices
I agree with that, and I think that's always been something weird that we've seen in video games, not only when they use voice when they use recognized names to do voices, but when they model in-game characters after a known actor. It's like there's no need to do that. You can make this character look like anybody. This character can sound like anybody. There's no need to use a big known actor, because then you get all that, like he's talking about, you get all that associated baggage.
That baggage.
Like, oh, I know him from this, or I know him from that.
That happens to me with a lot of actors too, just in movies. Like with some actors, I never forget I'm watching that actor.
Sure.
Jack Nicholson was a big one for, Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is just Tom Hanks being the character every single time.
Exactly.
Even animated movies, though, will make the characters, like if you get a big celebrity, they'll oftentimes make the character they're voicing have some like kind of resemblance to the actor, just because I think people associate that voice with certain features. And
Really? Name an example. I'll put you on the spot for it.
He said this mostly jokingly, I think, but I think there's still some truth to it. In the original Ice Age, Ray Romano voiced the mammoth, and he.
You think the mammoth is modeled after him?
He was like.
Does that mean Sid the Sloth?
He's kind of a mama's boy. And
Yeah, well, but seriously though, Ray Romano did say in an interview.
Do you know the name of the mammoth? I do.
It was I haven't seen these movies in years. What was
Manny.
it? Manny, yeah. But he did say that he was speaking to this exact thing. Though, where he said that they'll oftentimes make the characters kind of resemble the voice actor, and so he overheard somebody saying, "No, we got to make Manny's trunk bigger," and so he just laughed about that.
It also seemed like, or some celebrities would have a certain type of role they would always voice. Like, didn't Eddie Murphy have just a run of being the wacky sidekick?
Yeah.
In a ton of things.
I don't have I'm not gonna name specific names to not get anybody in trouble, but I do have a friend that has worked in video games for quite a while, and he has several stories. One being involving a very, very well-known actor just creating an entire recording session hell. Just hell.
Yeah.
And like they were wigged out of their mind on something, and they were coming off of like some sort of bender, and they just made it a terrible experience. Not that has to be the norm, but you say this, and I immediately have an example myself of a friend telling me the exact same kind of story of something even worse than this.
So, give a struggling voice actor a shot, Rockstar. Give me a call.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm available.
Let Gus be a Grand Theft Auto 6.
I'm not doing 100 hours a week, but I'll pop in for a little while.
I think that is true though. If it's not big names, but you're not going to think about, oh, I know who that is, or like who I'm going to think about that whole until I get it.
Was it a Call of Duty game that was Kevin Spacey?
Yes.
Oh, and they also had Kit Harington as well.
Oh, is it Kit Harington?
Yeah, was it Infinite Warfare?
But what was the Kevin Spacey one where he was like?
He was also
It was
COD.
Black Ops 3.
That's the thing. He was Black Ops. He was like a main character. He was in all the marketing.
Kevin Spacey?
Yeah.
Advanced Warfare.
And they modeled him.
Which one?
It was in Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm surprised you don't remember that. Like,
He was the face.
full
I don't
front
think
and
of-
center in
I
the
don't think of-
trailers. I mean,
Now you would not, as I spit everywhere, you would not use Kevin Spacey today.
Isn't Peter Stormare the voice actor and modeled for that? What was that scary game that everyone?
oh,
was
he was
playing?
in was it Until Dawn?
Until Dawn.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
in that one.
It was just him.
There's some good. Well, like
Stormare.
There's a.
There's Spacey.
Yep.
Yeah.
That reference has aged well.
He looks like he's asking someone how old they are.
And not happy with the answer.
They do some good, but Nathan Fillion doing Cade 6 and Destiny.
Yeah.
It's great, like legendary. That's his role.
Ellen Page in whatever that game that
Last
was.
of Us?
Heavy Rain.
And
You're thinking of Beyond Two Souls.
Beyond Two Souls. Yeah.
What was the?
I said it as a joke. I know it's not her in Last
What
of
was
Us.
the?
Yeah,
There's a quantum game that. What was that?
Quantum, not Quantum Leap, Quantum
Quantum
Realm.
Leap?
Quantum
no.
Leap. Scott Bakula. He was great.
What was it?
It had an actor in it that was like he was Iceman in X-Men.
Quantum Break.
Oh, Quantum Break. Yeah, on the Xbox.
Yeah.
He was the Iceman actor.
Or Windows,
I don't remember his name. He's a twin.
Iceman.
Yeah, and that looked just like him. He was the main character in that game.
Quantum Break. This is some riveting.
We're just going
Let's
through
Google
some fun.
stuff.
We're just going down the list of games that we remember.
Voice.
Oh,
Sean
maybe I was
Ashmore
wrong.
as Jack.
No,
Adrian.
sure.
Aidan Gillen.
Oh, he was definitely in the game. I remember
Motherfucker
that.
from The Wire.
Sean Ashmore. Scroll. You put your mouse over Sean
Okay, all
Ashmore.
right.
Yeah, him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bobby Drake. You nailed it.
Yeah, Iceman. I know my X-Men people. There he is, right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's really confusing because both of him and his brother are twins, and they're both actors.
Oh, they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
I mean,
there's one brother.
Let's get to the root of the problem. There's too many Skarsgårds.
They don't all look like
We need
twins.
less Skarsgårds.
No, they're all great.
You can only have one, the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. That's it.
But they at least like work together for the most part.
Yeah,
so you
that
always
was their
saw
whole
them.
gimmick.
You never went and saw you saw a movie. It's like, is that Mary Kate or is that Ashley? It's like they're both in it. We know they're both in it.
I'm only a fan of Mary Kate.
Yeah,
None of this Ashley stuff. Yeah.
I'm more of an Ashley Olsen guy. That's weird. It's weird to say.
But his brother's done other stuff. I think his brother was in like Smallville. Cool, fun tangents.
All right.
Aaron Ashmore, you're right. Okay.
I know my twins. I know my twins.
So I think that about wraps it up. Anybody got anything else?
He was Jimmy Olsen. I saw that really quick in the Wikipedia. He was Jimmy Olsen in Smallville.
Look at you. All right, there you go. All right, well, that about wraps it up for this episode of Glitch. Please stick around for New Game Plus. That's when we take questions from you guys. Really awesome. Other than that, we will see you later.
Bye.